again and arose to stand in my defense. So I come to tell you he's alive, to tell you that he dries every tear that falls.
Hello, this is Clint Louie coming to you with 5 Minutes from Friendship. And today, Pastor Bo Wagner of the Cornerstone Baptist Church in Mooresboro, North Carolina, he'll be bringing our thought today for 5 Minutes from Friendship. I appreciate Brother Bo. He's a pastor, author, a wonderful preacher, and I consider him my friend. I encourage you to check out his website, wordofhismouth.com, wordofhismouth.com. So, without further ado, here's Pastor Bo Wagner.
Good afternoon. This is Pastor Bo Wagner, guest speaking here on the 5 Minutes from Friendship podcast. I have something here on the desk with me that's not unfamiliar to Americans, I would assume. It is the common garden variety orange slice. Now, I like orange slices, but I have a history with orange slices. This goes back to when I was a very, very young child. I literally cannot eat one of these to this day without thinking of my very first memory with them. I was, I guess, about maybe 3 or 4 years old or so. I was going through the grocery store with my mom. Now, grocery stores back in those days had tables with big piles of candy laid up all over them, including individually wrapped things like these orange slices. And back then, I absolutely loved these. Well, I'd asked my mom if we could get some, and that day she had said no. But as we were passing by, I don't know what made me do it. I guess just my sin nature. But I reached out and I grabbed one. I was walking behind her so she couldn't see me. And I grabbed that thing and I very carefully sliced it open, tore it open, and I put that orange slice in my mouth and had it there in my jaw. And I was intent on eating it and enjoying it before she noticed. But my mom was one of those that had just impeccable timing on things like this. And as soon as I had it in my jaw real good, she turned around and her eyes got real big and she went, "Did you take one of those?" I said, Well, she knew better. She grabbed the little jaw and pried open the mouth, and sure enough, there was the orange slice. It was then that she began her tirade, scaring me away from a life of crime forever. She, "Oh, I'm going to call the police. You're going to go to jail forever. Let's go to the manager right now and tell him what you did so he can call the police." And I'm screaming and crying, "No, Mama, no, please don't, Mama." And she brought the manager over there, and they had that unspoken thing where, "Would you please scare my son to death?" And he fell right in with her. "We're going to call the police on you, young man. They're going to arrest you. They're going to take you to jail. And I promise I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again, please." And they both, "All right, fine. If you promise never to steal anything for the rest of your life, we won't send you to jail with the police." And I promised that I wouldn't. That made an impression on me that day. And I have lived a remarkably crime-free life since then, the occasional speeding thing notwithstanding. But my mom was wise enough to instill a fear and respect of the law and law enforcement in me on that day, and I understood that they were in charge and that I was to be reverent and fearful in their presence. She was wise enough not to tell me that I could do whatever I wanted to do and get by with it. In society right now, we could use a lot more people like my mom. I know you've seen the disrespect aimed at law enforcement, even among those who call themselves Christians. Listen to me very carefully. James had some things to say about law. He had some things to say about liberty, too. Lots of people in the Bible had things to say about law and liberty, but he said both at one time. He said in James 1:25, "But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed." He tied the law, which he specified as a scripture in verses 22 and 23, together with liberty. Without law, there is no liberty. If anybody's allowed to do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it, then it's chaos and anarchy, which is the exact opposite of liberty. Teach your children, teach your grandchildren to respect law and law enforcement. Please understand that all of society depends on people growing up to understand that there are certain lines they cannot cross, and there are certain people that are in charge of making sure we don't cross those lines. This has been Pastor Bo Wagner guesting on the 5 Minutes Friendship. Y'all have a great day.